Where does the dance take place? Describe how you show this in the dance. Describe how this affects your movement. We don't really, we can't really show where we are because we're normally just standing still in lines or just clapping. But some of the objects and where some of the characters are placed kind of shows that we're at the TUC conference in Eastbourne. We say we showed that we were in Eastbourne previously with the song River Eastbourne. But it shows that we're at some kind of conference because of the lectern and the microphone that Rita uses, and the seats at the back where the Prime Minister and Barbara Castle are sitting, which are like the really important people. And the girls are just at the side, at one side of the stage, and then there's an announcement just before Rita comes on that she's about to say a speech for equal pay. So it shows that she's at a very important and formal event. Describe how your character feels within the scene. How do you show this in your movement? For example, how does this affect your facial expressions and dynamics of the movement? Well, basically, I don't really move throughout the song until the end. But I think during the song, I always think about how my character would be feeling, and always use my given circumstances. For example, she's always talking to Rita about moments in history that have like changed other people's lives, such as Martin Luther King and Rosa Parks. And she always gets excited about talking about them because she's learnt them in her education in university, which she really loved, and she rarely got to speak about them because she's normally at home on her own, being a housewife to her husband. So the fact that she's been a part of something that will be marked in history forever, she's really excited and she's enthusiastic about the future because she realizes that the only thing that she wants in the future is to get a job and be independent, like something that she's always been, but she's kind of been under Mr. Hopkins. She's kind of been in Mr. Hopkins' shadow once he decided that she should be a housewife instead of a working woman. So I just imagine that she's really proud of every single factory woman for staying together, even when people like Tooley have been trying to break them up, and she's realizing that something like this is actually happening. So I always make sure that when Rita's first starts saying a speech, she looks at Rita with hope and just assurance because she knows that Rita's got it in her to deliver a powerful speech. And just throughout the song, she's really proud, and she also feels, I think, inspired by Rita because of how far she's come and how she's been able to make the future for herself and other people different, like for the better. So she always has a constant smile on her face even when she's singing, and she is generally happy at this point. So I try and smile as much as possible and just make my posture upright, because she's strong anyway, and she's obviously had lessons in how to walk and how to speak. Describe 3 points in your dance which are good and explain why they are effective. Well, I like the part at the end when we're all clapping and we're moving side to side from all together, like in unison, because it shows that we're celebrating for the same thing, which was equal pay and equal respect for men and women. And it just shows that especially the men can finally see what the women have, why the women believe, what the women believe in, and why it was necessary to make the strike happen. And so it looks good from the audience's point of view, and the reason it looks so inspiring is because we're all finally reuniting as Dagenham, and even though there's been struggles along the way, we've finally it's a big reunion that we can all share the celebration, because we're all equal, and it's how it should be now. And although I'm not in this part, I like the fact that when it's finally announced that equal pay is passed as a law, the shouting from the audience and the excitement all stops, and it gets put into a freeze frame while Eddie comes on stage, and both Rita and Eddie put their differences behind them and start afresh. And I really like it because the commotion suddenly stops, just to focus on them, because that was what Rita was really worrying about, and that was why she was doubting herself so much, was because she was thinking that her relationship was always on the line. And now they've both reunited. It's one massive celebration as soon as the chorus starts up again, and we all come out of the freeze frame, and then we really start celebrating. And that's when myself and Thule get down from the stairs, and that's when we all clap in unison and do a little and then step aside. The third point as to why our dance is really good is because during the second chorus, the men suddenly come on stage and sing with Rita after the girls have just sang, and it gives the audience a moment to realise that the men are finally behind the women, and they understand why the women had to do what they did. Because we already know that the women were also passionate about equal pay and equal respect for women, that even though some of the men understood why they did it, obviously there were complications, especially in Storm Clouds, as to why they might be quite irritated with the women because it's affected their income. But once they all sang with Rita, the chorus, it showed the audience that they're behind equal pay as well, and they're happy just as much as the factory woman, and that's why it's really important that we're all celebrating at the end. Target 3 areas of the dance which need improving, for example, timing, facial expression and dynamics. List and describe. I think the first area of improvement would just to look a bit more determined in myself and make sure that my shoulders are pushed back so I don't look shy and it doesn't look like, and to make sure that it looks like my confident character that I've portrayed throughout. To keep remembering my given circumstances for Lisa Hopkins, so and during the times when I'm not even singing, I need to make sure that I think she mainly feels proud at this moment of what the women have achieved, and that she feels proud herself because she's helped Rita to gain confidence, and that's one of the reasons why Rita's doing her speech at that moment. So I think it's always good to focus on Rita first and look really proud of her, and has the belief that she is going to do well, and she is going to put a point across that that gender doesn't matter and that everyone should be respected. And the third improvement is probably to make sure that my vocals are during rehearsals we decided that only a certain amount of people who can hit the high notes should sing at one point when we're all on the same level and we're clapping. So I always need to remember to stop singing while the kind of more professional singers are singing the high note, as well as remembering how many times I need to clap until we all stop and sing the last word now, which goes on for quite a while. Because a couple of times during rehearsal I was about to clap and then I realised that was the end of the clap sequence, and that we all need to have like quite a wide stance apart and stand up really tall during when we're singing the word now, which goes on for about 5 seconds and has like 3 different vocal ranges.